Greetings and welcome everyone. How are you feeling out there tonight? Selah shouting out to you from the Adonai Studios. Big love and unity from the Dubb. Tonight's show is dedicated to the Blackheart Man, Wailer. We're here to pass on the vibes. One love and unity. This is the Dubbcast. Hope everybody's feeling good out there. We got a good show for you tonight. Then we're going to get on with it to the next segment, which is the Acoustic Cast. So we'll be playing live, doing a tribute to Wailer. We're here to raise the vibrations. Hope everybody's feeling good out there. The Dubbcast is brought to you by Carl Heverly Surf. Everything from 10-foot long nose riders to pocket thrusters, all handmade by Carl Heverly himself on the Crystal Coast in Emerald Isle, North Carolina. CarlHeverlySurf.com. All right, we got a big night. We took the week off and we're back in action. Hope everybody's doing good. Sit back and relax. This is the Dubbcast. What's up, everybody? How you doing out there tonight? Hope you're feeling good. Selah shouting out to you from the Adonai Studios. All right. We're here to raise the vibrations. Big love and unity. We got a special show tonight. We're going to get on with this one and get on to the Acoustic Cast in the next segment. We got a few announcements to make. First, I want to give thanks to all the friends out there for supporting the Dubbcast in the last couple months. We've had a great time putting it together for you, and the Acoustic Cast playing live. Haven't repeated any music yet. Tonight is one of the last nights of the full succession of acoustic music. Starting next week, I'll be pulling out the loop pedal, and we'll be putting together some more electronic style Dubbcasting for you. But for now, next couple shows will be acoustic cast and a couple more basic shows for you. And tonight is a theme dedicated to Wailer. So stick around for that. It's coming up next. I want to thank all the friends for supporting the new vlogs and videos. It's been coming across real good. And we got the new On With The Mix video coming out in just a couple days. Don't miss it. We got Kirby running all over the place, and it is our dance hall dance hit. So I hope all the kids on TikTok get a hold of it and we spread that music worldwide. I want everybody to like and subscribe right now. If you're watching right now, please hit that like and that subscribe button. It helps out a lot for us to get the music out there to the rest of the planet instead of just the people right here in our neighborhood. And it also helps me be able to notify you when we got some shows coming up and some events coming up. So hit the notification bell, like and subscribe. I want to build up the tribe. If I get 1,000 likes, then I can do the split screen here on the acoustic cast and the live cast, and then I can bring in more guests easier on YouTube. So let's build up the tribe so I can keep you guys posted. Well, I'll tell you what, this last week I've been working on, took the week off to work on just editing, putting out the new acoustic cast and podcast on Spotify, iTunes, what else? Apple Music, all your different streaming sites. So don't miss that. And also was working on some new guests this last couple of days. So we got producer Mitch Cooper coming in from Third Lock Records. We got some movie stars coming in, J.D. Beulah and a few others, as well as archaeologists coming. Christopher Moore, Dr. Christopher Moore is going to come on the show, which we've been very excited to check that out. Christopher Moore and I went to Appalachian State at the same time, and I am an amateur archaeology explorer, and I enjoy archaeology a lot. I enjoy geology and archaeology, and I really like the stories of the past Americas. And Chris Moore he is a specialist in the Younger Dryas hypothesis, and that is a hypothesis about a time period 12,500 years ago when there could have been an asteroid impact, or there could have been just a quick drop in temperature because of the length-of-its cycle, the tilt of the Earth. But for some reason, between 12,500 years ago and 11,800 years ago, the temperature dropped greatly, and we lost a whole culture of people called the Clovis culture. And during that time, we lost our megafauna, which is all these giant animals that walked North America. At one time, we had giant sloths that were 6 feet tall. We had the short faced bear, which was 10-foot tall bear that was tougher than any bear alive today. We had woolly mammoths as well as mastodons walking the earth here. We had camels in North America. So we had a lot of crazy animals. We had the saber-toothed tiger. All of them died out in a 1,000-year period, as well as the loss of what we call the Clovis culture and the Neolithic, the megalithic culture before the Clovis culture. And anyways, there's a very interesting story behind the Clovis culture and how they made their spear points. That's the only way you can really identify them, because everything that they ever created pretty much has vanished into thin air, but the stone points are still around, so you can see how they fluted their points, and they were alive at one time with this certain technology. And then they passed on and disappeared, and then new cultures came in making smaller technology, smaller points. The Cumberland points, the Redstone points, the Folsom points. They were all these little points, and they got more and more intricate as time went on. So it was a very interesting story about whether it was an impact theory, like whether we had a giant asteroid impact at that time, or whether the tilt of the Earth caused the temperature change. But anyways, that cycle happened, and those people had to move on to higher ground, and then new people came to North America. And these new cultures actually started civilizations like Cahokia in Ohio, where there was over 20,000 people living at one time. And that's when they really got their technology really honed down to these incredible points. And they actually took copper from a mine 1,000 miles away in the Great Lakes, and they would have chert pieces that they would get from all the way in South Carolina on the Savannah River. So they would just trade. They were trading stuff, and we actually had civilizations all through North America, just like we had in South America, and all up into 500, 1500 AD or so, and then things started changing as man started coming here from bringing in diseases and stuff from Europe and all that stuff. So, anyways, it's a long story, very interesting. Hopefully, we can get Chris Moore here, the people from the Seven Ages Project, other people to tell us more about the Clovis people, how they lived. And Chris Moore, he does a lot of studies on the soil samples that he gets from different lake samples and different places that have been preserved. We have all these different lakes around that are called the Carolina Bays, and they think that might be part of the story there. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of Carolina Bays all around the area here on the southeastern region, now southeastern seaboard. So, anyways, very interesting story. So, check that out coming up soon. And we are very excited for other Dubbcasts coming up soon, because we're going to have Mr. Burt Ray on talking about the blues. And we're going to have, who else are we going to have on? I was talking to, got a couple friends coming, Don De Lamont from the Southern Brain Fart, and a couple other friends. So Big shouts to everybody for supporting the Dubbcast. It's getting fun, and we've been having a good time putting it together. And we want to thank everybody for supporting it, for sure. This is the Dubbcast, coming at you from the Adonai Studios. You can check us out here on the Selah Dubb channel and the Selah Dubb network. Come say hi to us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Also, come to the SelahDubb.com channel, and that's where you can get all the info and the deeper cuts. You can get the deeper cuts on the videos, vlogs, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. We got some special stuff there. Also, join us on the Patreon site that's coming up in a couple weeks. The Patreon site is almost fully together. And with your subscription to Patreon, you'll get the ins to special deals as well as ins to some of the things coming up in the future, like some of the festivals we're getting ready to do, ticket deals and stuff like that. So if we got some special concerts, you might get the inside deal, the VIP passes and that kind of stuff offered to you. So check out the Selah Dubb Patreon for sure and SelahDubb.com. Big thanks for supporting all of our efforts here at Adonai Studios. Big love and unity from the Dubb. This one goes out to Bunny Wailer. This side. I want to give big shouts out to my good friend Matt Irie, putting it together out west. He's out there living out in Vegas right now, chilling hard. I want to give big shouts out to my brothers up here recording in Charlotte, up there at 10mm Omega. We're getting ready to do some work with them here in March, working on Praxis and Country Town. And interested to hear that. Interested to hear Burt Ray's brand new album. He's getting ready to put out a new album soon. Everybody seems to be putting out new music. I think we're going to be hearing some incredible stuff coming after all this lockdown and crazy stuff going on. So I want to thank everybody for the support here of the group. It's been a good time indeed. Indeed. Also, we got the brand new merchandise that's come in. Check it out. Got the new Selah Dubb mugs. We got the new t-shirts, as you can see. And we got the new girls tank tops. Let's see, get this up here. Something might fall on my head. Here's the girls tank tops. But all this is available now at Teespring. You can order your Selah Dubb paraphernalia at Teespring. We got the new stickers. So check it out at Teespring, Selah Dubb store. And we got all kinds of stuff there. I'm going to be putting out my new book, DJ Spin That Shit, there. So don't miss that. That's going to be fun indeed. I want to thank Carl Heverly for supporting us. He's got some new boards here for the springtime, so we'll be checking those out and surfing on those during the vlog. So I'll be stoked. Like I'm hooking up some camera action to that, and we are stoked for that. So big love and unity to Mr. Carl Heverly for supporting the Dubb so much. I've also been in the works and negotiations with Miss Baby Beats and a couple other band members, Brother Heater, Kirby, and Michael Akins, and a few other people that we're going to get together and get ready for the summer season. Looks like we're going to be booking some shows here soon. I am so stoked. I can't believe it. I'm going to put together a huge band, and I'm only going to do big concerts. I'm going to sell tickets way in advance so everyone can get to it. And we are super stoked. Big shouts to all the people. I'm super stoked to get back to you. So we'll keep playing live here. We'll keep working on the new music. Going to put out the new album Praxis, and then we'll come out on the road with you. Yes. All right. We got some stories for you here. Tell you what. Man, I tell you what, this week I had a crazy troll come at me. And I have trolls come at me a lot, a lot of times they come at me and from all kinds of crazy angles and say, get me go, try to crank me up. And in the past, when I first started getting it, 10 years ago, I might have reacted, and I would just say too much and get involved and get wrapped up for days on end. But I've learned to shrug it off, and I don't get involved too much. But this guy just started saying some really crazy stuff, really harsh, and then started almost dangerous. It was kind of scary. So he was hitting me up on Twitter with some crazy stuff and talking about my music, and he put my music up on his Twitter and said some crazy stuff. And so I ended up trying to kind of tracking him, going deeper and deeper. And as I went deeper, I couldn't really read everything because he was writing stuff in different language. It was definitely from India. And then next thing I know, I find out some link he's got for his business on Facebook. That's where I realized I had done some work with this crazy guy. And on Facebook, he's poses as a woman. So he did some work for me, like promotion on Facebook, on YouTube, and we had chatted on Facebook, but he was like, definitely, I thought it was a girl, and she, him or her, whoever it was a he, but he had taken over some girl's identity. Anyways, he only worked with me for like a week. I just gave him a little bit of money to see what he would do, but it wasn't organic. It was like whatever he was doing was shady. So I stopped working with him right away. But anyway, somehow I must have shared one of my videos onto his page, or somehow it got on there, and he was trying to get me back, and he wrote all this crazy stuff, and I just saw it on, and I was fine. I just reacted back to him with a big whatever. I just really wanted to see who it was. But it just got me thinking, man, a lot of these people stirring up controversy, trouble. They're not even they're not even in our country. Like this guy's like in a different country. And he was just like a young kid and posing as a woman on Facebook. It was just kind of creepy. It made me really wonder, really think about our nation that's unified. Everyone in our neighborhood is unified. Or you see somebody walk down the street, somebody in a store, we're all getting along. Then you get on social media, and especially on Twitter, it's like some scariness. Really some scary people out there. So for me, I'm fine, but I've noticed how it really has affected like the younger generation, really affected Kirby's, daughter's generation and the kids. And it's been hard for them. They've had a real hard time keeping together. I know some young musicians that just had to just duck out and just didn't even play for a long time, which I've seen them, a few of them have emerged from the closet and they're getting back into it now. But this has been really hard on a lot of the younger youth. And so I would just say we got to reach out to the youth right now, and we got to help them get back on their feet as the COVID starts to wear away and people get them back on their feet. We got to help them have the courage to get beyond any phobias they've attained from this, and just like help the youth right now, because I feel like we're in my generation or older, we don't really realize the feelings they're going through, because they're going through all those changes, as it is, and then going along with the crazy lockdowns, and everybody's been in a tumultuous storm. I really, don't want to name names or blame cause games, but it seems like we just got into a real hysteria the last little time period here, and people have been butting heads, and I think people are misreading each other and jumping to conclusions. But I really think that it's all been amplified by the algorithms online and really amplified by the media. So let's not let it get to us. Let's try to unify and pass it on. That's what we're doing tonight. We're passing it on for Bunny Weather. So I'll quit chatting about that. But the youth need your love right now. The youth need the energy. But that's all I have to say about that. Let's get on with the news. Tonight we're going to get on with the news, and then we'll get into the live Acousticast. All right. This is the Dubbcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. The Acousticast is next with a tribute to Bunny Wailer. Stick around. Big love and unity from the Dubb. We love you, Bunny Wailer. Oh, it's been a sad week and a sad couple months here for reggae music. It seems like the legacy and the original hit makers are all fading on into the big heaven in the sky. So now we've lost Toots from the Maytals, and this week Johnny Nash has passed away. And Johnny Nash was the writer of "I Can See Clearly Now," and he had a lot of other hits earlier before that. But "I Can See Clearly Now" is definitely instrumental in Bunny Wailer's career because the Wailers were led on a journey to Sweden and to England to record for Johnny Nash, and they recorded that hit right there. "I Can See Clearly Now." I think they played the backup to most of those parts, and then he kind of left them high and dry, and so they had to learn the hard way what the record business can do to them. So they were stuck in England and having to figure it out. And Johnny Nash had the big hit, and somehow people have to survive. They do what they do. So whatever happened at that time, Bob Marley went to Island Records and talked to Chris Blackwell, and it was all history after that. So they got a big record deal after that, and they put out "Burning" and recorded that, and that became their big hit. So Johnny Nash led them to England, and that led them to their big record deal. So, in one way, it was a blessing, in another way, it was a curse. And also, unfortunately, we've lost Bunny Wailer. And if you don't know who Bunny Wailer is, he is the original creator of the Wailers. Him and Junior Brathwaite and Bob Marley and Peter Tosh, Beverly Livingston, um, and Bob Marley's wife all got together and started the Wailers. Rita Rita started the Wailers. Rita Marley started the Wailers, and that was during the days of ska, and they had almost like a Motown sound, and they were taught by Joe Higgs in the Yard, and they put out some great music that actually made it real big in England, but they really didn't see a lot of money from that, and so Bob Marley ended up having to go to England, go to the States for a while, and then when Bob came back from the States, that's when they took off with the uh, the Upsetter, Lee Scratch Perry, and they recorded all those big hits. And it became Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, and the Wailer, and Junior, and Bunny Wailer. And they came to America and did an incredible little tour. And they came from ska and started doing rock steady. And they did their first American tour. It was real rock steady, really high speed, chickadee chickadee kind of scratchety kind of style, which was my favorite style. Heavy bass, and all the guitars were super rhythmic, and all the vocals were super, I guess, harmonic is the best way to describe it. And that's when Peter and Bunny really backed up Bob Marley. But Bunny did have a couple songs, and he did a song on "Burning" called "Pass It On," which became his big hit. And that went on in the movie Rockers, which was a big hit in the movie Rockers. I know everybody saw that one part where they're all sharing the food together up in the cave with the Rasta man. So Bunny went on to have a little career after he left the Wailers. Bunny wanted to stay home. He didn't really want to tour around the world. Peter was very militant with what he was his ideas, and so he wanted to lay the law down. And he didn't want to tour, and Bunny didn't want to tour because he got stuck in England, and he was going to stay on the island where it was warm. And Peter was feeling militant. He didn't want to go on tour anymore. So Bob, after "Burning," went on his own. And so Bunny went on his own. And for a couple, Bunny took some time got into the '80s. He got into some dance hall styles, did a lot of music with dance tracks, and some people didn't quite agree with the dance track stuff, but it was cutting edge in a lot of ways to the time period, late '70s, early '80s, playing the dance tracks like that. And so that was some beautiful music indeed. And then Bunny in the late '80s into the '90s got back out on the road a little bit and started touring a little bit out there. And that's when I got to catch him live. I got to catch him one time in the late '90s when I was visiting my brother in Colorado, and got to see him in a little town between Snowmass and Aspen. And that was an incredible show indeed. I got to go backstage for 1 second. He was standing there for 1 second at the edge of the green room. And I ran back there and sat with him for a second and had a little chat with him for a minute and was just telling him I just wanted to let him know that I played music because of him. And I was so into the rock steady style that they did, the Talking Blues album and all that music, and what an influence it was on me. And I was, asking for a little bit of advice, and he just he's like, well, I'd like to tell everybody one thing, and that is always, if you're going to play reggae music, you got to put feeling into every note, whether that's your guitar or your vocals. You got to put that extra bit of feeling into it. He said a lot of people might dabble in reggae and they might play the notes and play the music perfectly, but if they're not putting the feeling into every note and leaving that space for the music to breathe, then you're not going to get the original reggae vibration and touch people's soul. So I'll never forget that. And I always, that's definitely something in blues music and in reggae, the vibrato of the guitar, the vibrato of the voice, putting the feeling into it, the energy, the soul. It's crucial to making good reggae. So it's a big thing that Bunny Wailer did with the Wailers and Bob Marley and Peter Tosh. It made an impact all around the world globally, impacted hundreds of millions of people, and maybe even billions of people. So it's mad respect to the king. We would call him the king of reggae at this time. And you got to go out and check out his music if you get a chance. Lay down some Bunny Wailer right now, crank it up, and get that original roots feeling. He spreads the true Rasta feeling, and we want to spread that and pass that on. So pass it on. Big love and unity from the Dubb, and mad respect to the king, Bunny Wailer. All right, let's get on to some fun news. What's this? Miss Virginia has allowed Sweet Jane to come into her state. What is this? Virginia joins 15 other states to legalize what? Legalize the sweet leaf. I won't go any deeper than that, but I want to give mad props to Virginia that's paving the way for North Carolina. You got to think about it. I mean, what are we going to do here? This whole nation needs to come to grips with this whole phobia of the green. You know what I'm saying? We got 5 new states now that legalized it. And the states that are not legalizing it are just losing out on taxation, giving money to the criminals, and giving bad, dangerous product to the kids out there who might get a hold of something when they shouldn't. You should put an age limit on it. You should tax it, and you should just go ahead and be smart about it. You can't have one state getting the tax revenue from it and doing it legally, and then the next state not taxing it and not getting the revenue. It's just really a waste, especially when we're going into a time we got to come back and make it out of this crisis right now. We got to financially get through it. So North Carolina and the rest of the South needs to come to grips because we are the tobacco belt of the world, and we have incredible agriculture. We're already growing THC free green. So why don't we just go ahead and, people are already going to use it. So why don't we go ahead and make it a safe thing for people? So mad props to Virginia and big. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Dubbcast. It's been a good little show. What have we learned today? We learned that the Blackheart Man is here to spread unity around the world. And everything he taught me, I'm going to teach you. So when I say big love and unity, that comes straight from Bunny Wailer and the Jamaican vibrations. So light a candle for the king himself, crank up his music, dance around the living room. Mad respect to Bunny Wailer. Thanks for tuning into the Dubbcast. The Acousticast is next. Stick around. This is the Dubbcast. Check us out on the Selah Dubb musical network at SelahDubb.com. Also at Adonai.com, as well as Facebook, iTunes, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, and all your favorite streaming sites. Big love and unity from the Dubb. We'll talk to you soon.